Welcome to MarketSnap's daily market rundown. One name surged over 14% today and stole the spotlight in a session where dip buyers finally showed up. But the broader market sent a clear signal. The AI trade isn't dead, it's just being repriced. We're unpacking the chip comeback first, then the bigger themes driving this week. After a rough start to the week, Wall Street staged a solid rebound. The Dow jumped over 350 points, the S&P 500 climbed nearly 0.9%, and the Nasdaq led the charge, up 1.3%. The Russell 2000 outperformed with a 1.5% gain, showing some much-needed breath. The VIX dropped over 8%, settling back near 17 as fear eased. The big story today? Semiconductors. This was a full-on bounce in the chip space. SK Hynix surged nearly 14%, Micron jumped 12%, and Western Digital and Seagate both ripped higher by double digits. AMD gained 8%, Intel added over 8%, and Applied Materials rose more than 7%. Even ARM Holdings was up over 7%. The narrative is shifting. The sell-off in AI chips may have been overdone. On the flip side, it was a rough day for some defensive and data-heavy names. Danaher dropped nearly 11% after its earnings miss. S&P Global fell almost 4%, and CrowdStrike lost over 3.5%. Adobe, ADP, and Datadog all slid more than 3%. This looks less like a sector rotation and more like a rebalancing. Money moving out of high-multiple software and into beaten-down hardware. The big macro backdrop is still messy. Oil prices are testing new highs as U.S.-Iran strikes continue, and the Strait of Hormuz disruption is real. Goldman Sachs is now talking about oil potentially surpassing $120 a barrel if this doesn't ease. Meanwhile, the White House is threatening new 50% tariffs on Canadian goods, and the trade rep hinted at fresh tariffs on dozens of countries soon. But markets are shrugging it off for now, choosing to focus on earnings. Zooming out to the weekly picture, the winners are mostly defensive and value-oriented. Abbott Labs is up over 15% for the week, Travelers gained nearly 12%, and Philip Morris added over 9%. This tells you that even with today's tech bounce, the weekly trend still favors safety and income over growth. The weekly losers list is a who's who of AI and chip-adjacent names. United Microelectronics is down over 20%, SanDisk lost 19%, Bloom Energy fell nearly 19%, and Dell dropped 17%. SK Hynix, Astera Labs, and Rocket Lab all lost more than 16%. This is the hangover from the AI euphoria that peaked a few weeks ago. Earnings season is in full swing, and this week is loaded. Tomorrow we get Alphabet and Tesla. Both are magnificent 7 names that will set the tone for the rest of the AI trade. Intel reports Thursday, and IBM is also on deck. On the consumer side, General Mills and Constellation Brands report this week. The market is laser-focused on CapEx guidance from the hyperscalers. A few company-specific stories worth noting. 3M delivered a beat-and-raise quarter, sending shares up 9%. Hasbro jumped 10% after convincing Wall Street that Magic the Gathering has staying power. And IREN, the NeoCloud operator, surged after signing a $2.8 billion contract with NVIDIA and others. On the flip side, Ryanair missed on lower fares and higher fuel costs, and Equifax missed EPS despite solid revenue. You can find exclusive earnings transcript summaries on MarketSnap. Sector-wise, the weekly performance tells a clear story. Communication services is the only sector in the green for the week, barely. Consumer defensive and utilities are flat. Technology is the worst performing sector over the past week, down over 4%. Energy is flat despite the oil spike, which is a bit surprising, but that could change if crude keeps climbing. One final thought. Margin debt hit a record $1.53 trillion in June, up 51% year over year. That's a warning signal. Leverage is peaking, and history shows that when margin debt gets this extended, volatility tends to follow. Jamie Dimon also made waves today, saying he wouldn't buy stocks or treasuries at current prices. That's worth noting, even if you don't agree. That's a wrap for today's stock market summary from MarketSnap. Thanks for tuning in. If you found this breakdown useful, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a daily recap. We're also rolling out exclusive SWOT analyses on the biggest names in the market. Check the link in the description. See you tomorrow.